G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 7 of the season. Round 6 was pretty rough as the average suggests. I think I got 3 correct and might have gone down a few more spots. Yep, down to 20th on the table. So yeah, not in good company. Apologies for anyone around me. Sire Bangers up the top of the table by a little bit. I think I'm going to go 50 points, 60 points. Yeah, that looks like 60 points to me, if my maths tells me correct. 138 to 198. Looks good to me. All right, let's get stuck into it. Hopefully a better week on the track this week. We'll see what happens. All right, coming up Thursday night, we've got Melbourne at the MCG hosting Richmond in the Anzac Day Eve clash. Should be a ripper of a game. The D's finally got over the hurdle there and were able to find a way to win over the Dockers in a close one. And Richmond also upsetting Gold Coast. So, yeah, a lot to like there for both sides, who have got full head of steam at the moment. I'm going to go Melbourne. I'm going to be pretty close, I think. I'll go the D's by 12 points. Yeah, I think their performance has been relatively even. Hopefully, from their perspective, got a bit of a breakthrough. With being able to get a W on the board, release the shackles a little bit. I think from a list perspective, they seem to be better on paper. I can't imagine too many sides not being as good on paper as Richmond. I think, the D's will be able to back it up. Don't know if the Tigers will be able to. Over to the Friday night game, we've got a couple of games. We've got Collingwood and Essendon for the classic traditional Anzac Day clash. Pies really big winners over Brisbane, 52 points thereabouts at the Gabba. Then the Bombers, what did they do? What did they get up to last week? It was a very close game against the Eagles, that's right. They were also on the Friday night. It was a 2-point win in the end. Hard to go past the Pies there in super hot form, looking really good. They win most of the Anzac Day clashes. Collingwood, a lot more experience than the Bombers. I see them getting the job done here. We go over to Optus Stadium on the Friday night game, and we have Fremantle hosting Adelaide. The Dockers went down to the Demons at the MCG, a couple of goals in that one, and Adelaide won in a slog over in Adelaide against the Giants. It's a big game for both sides, and I think none more so than Fremantle, who really have to start getting a move on. I reckon Freo get the job done here, but not very confident in that. Maybe their defensive prowess might be able to help them at home. But yeah, again, they're going to have to play an attacking brand of footy if they want to win as well. They can't, they won't be able to limit Adelaide, you wouldn't think, too heavily. Over to the Saturday games, we've got St Kilda hosting the Lions at Marvel Stadium. The Saints went down in a big way to the Dogs. Cracks starting to show. 71-point loss in the end, I think. Brisbane went down 50-plus points at home in what will be, I'm sure, a sharpen up for the Lions. I don't suspect the Saints to be good enough to respond back to the reigning premiers. It'd be a shock loss if so. But yeah, Brisbane easily counted for the Saints in the similar corresponding game last year and just come off a loss to the Pies. They'll lick their wounds, and I reckon they'll be back into it and getting back on the winners list. Over at Adelaide, we've got Port Adelaide hosting North Melbourne. Not getting too much hope for North, the North side there with the odds that we can see. Port Adelaide had a good win over the Swans. I think it was 8 points in the end. Really good win away from home. And North Melbourne were deplorable against the Blues, it has to be said. Just have to go Port Adelaide pretty comfortably here. They're very good at smashing teams that aren't that good at their home deck. They've had some good wins this year as well, Port has to be said, over the Hawks and the Swans over the last few weeks. But they do love to tear a poor team apart at home. Over at Manuka Oval, we have the GWS Giants hosting the Western Bulldogs. I'm going to have to see if Jesse Hogan's playing here because he was out last week and they were out on their feet. Giants went down to the Crows. I think it was about 2-3 goals in the end. Doggies, massive win, as we saw, and looking really good with the Bont back into it. If Jesse Hogan plays, I'll be tipping the Giants. If not, I'm going to have a crack at going with the Bulldogs here. They've had a lot of spirit and a lot of heart to start out this season. They've played some really good footy, so close to beating the Lions and the Pies, as well as notching up some good wins in amongst that. So I'm going to go the Doggies there at Manuka. Then we go over to People First Stadium, and we got Gold Coast hosting the Swans. Gold Coast went down to the Tigers at Marvel, so the Dimmer curse continues. That was 11 points, and the Swans went down to the Power at their home deck, at Sydney's home ground, I should say. Gold Coast love to win at home. I reckon they'll be too strong and will get the job done, putting the Swannies in a pretty vulnerable spot. And they haven't been playing that good of a footy either, Sydney, and we know what Gold Coast can do at home. MCG, Sunday afternoon, we've got Carlton up against Jalong. Carlton, big winners over North Melbourne. Got the chocolates there. They were playing breathtaking footy. I think it was about 82 points in the end. And Geelong prevailed again in the Easter Monday clash even. Got that one a bit off. Now, look, it's really tough to look at this one. I look at the game and go, well, Geelong are the better side, but it doesn't always necessarily mean the case because the Blues' clearance game and pressure has been really, really good, and they've, without getting a lot of wins on the board, they've played some pretty good footy and finally clicking back into gear. I'm going to go Carlton, more so I just feel like Geelong are due for a loss, and I know how even the season is, and even though Carlton are down sitting 13th, Geelong 6th, any team on their day can win. A little bit of an upset as well. Just think, with Geelong have been playing some solid footy, haven't been perfect in saying all of that, and it doesn't take much for it to be off. Just have a funny feeling Carlton home ground, they'll be loud. Don't know how we'll go again at the MCG, but yeah, we're going to learn a lot. And I think that clearance game could concern us a bit. Over to the final game of the round, and Hawthorn hosting the West Coast at Marvel Stadium. They've had some heroic wins at Marvel in the past, Eagles, but I don't think it's going to come along this week. Hawthorn have lost their last two, Port Adelaide and Jalong, respectively. They went down to the Cats for 7 points. Eagles lost by a couple of points against the Bombers, really competitive. In a much better affair, but didn't quite get the chocolates in the end and notch up their first win. Hawthorn for mine. Too strong at home. Eagles hapless. All right, it's going to be a rocky week and a tough week, I bet. But if we can get anything north of 6, that'll be a good result. So I've gone Melbourne, Collingwood, Fremantle, Brisbane, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Carlton, and Hawthorn are my picks for round 7. So let's see how we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Comment who you think is going to win over the weekend or any upsets that you have in mind. Interested to hear your feedback there. Give the video a like and subscribe away so you can keep up to date with how I'm tipping each and every week. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.